Down. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X, and we are very thankful to have you here today. If you could please go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons, as your support means everything to us here at Shotgun Sports. Now, today we are going to be giving you the best of the Double E alumni. We had 3 great conversations this season with alumni, green and gold alumni, that is. Odell Willis started off the season very strong for us, even though apparently our microphones didn't start strong. And then, of course, we did get to speak to Trent Brown. That's always a great conversation as well. And near the end of the season, we did get another great convo in with Matt O'Donnell. Awesome guy. Great sense of humor. 3 great conversations once again. So without further ado, we are going to bring you the best of the Double E alumni on season 3 of the Elks Call.
So without further ado, or at least big proponent, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the mayor of Commonwealth Stadium, now the mayor of Athletes Compound, formerly number 41 of your Edmonton Elks, well, Edmonton Eskimos at the time, 2015 Grey Cup champion, Odell Willis. Odell, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
We need the woo. There you go.
Let's go. That was that May 10th?
That was May 10th.
Man, you're making waves in the Canadian football prospect game with Athletes Compound, and you've had some Double E coaching appearances over the last year. So we got to ask, how busy is this time of year for you?
Oh man, I'm always busy. And this time of the year, it's kind of bittersweet because I get that urge. You get after 13 years, you get used to people calling your phone saying, "Hey, you want to play for us?" and things like that. So around this time, you get that itch. You want to go back out there, and like I say, it just what I'm saying. You get busy because, like I said, you got kids getting out of school now. They ready to turn ready to take their training to the next level, and you got the CFL starting, so it's just a lot of football going on that, you just got to manage your time wisely.
Yeah.
Time management, especially having kids, being a managing father, being a mentor, being a coach, being a business owner. You got a lot on your hands right now.
Yeah, I do. I love it though. It's what I asked for, so I'm not complaining no bits. I ain't doing nothing but licking all the blessings that's falling off the plate. And I'm not complaining about none of the blessings that's on my plate. I'm not complaining about it being too full because, like I said, I asked for it. So all I'm doing is trying to share it a little bit, and whatever I can't share, I'm gonna make sure I catch the drippings off the side of the plate and keep it moving.
I love it. And you know what? Way better than having nothing to do. It's better to be busy and have a purpose than just nothing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some athletes come out of the game and there's now services out there for athletes. Like there's a couple guys that are working with former players in finding things to do in life after football, and you're out here busy all the time, that's the direct opposite. It's amazing. So let's just get right into it. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today. Man, save the day for sure. That was a good one. So for things that you can't control, and me messaging you this morning, you definitely answered the call. So let's dig in. Man, your journey to Athletes Compound started with big dreams from a young boy born in Meridian, Mississippi. So what was your first sports memory, and how did it pave the path where you are today?
I think my first sports memory was like growing up where we're from. We didn't idolize guys on TV because one, we didn't see them till only on the weekend, so it wasn't you could follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and see what they're doing day to day. So, growing up where I'm from, we idolized, the top guys that was in high school. Like we had high school legends that we all looked up to. So on Friday night for us at a basketball. Friday night football was a big thing where I'm from. Like everybody and their mama at the Friday night game. So as a little boy, all we would do is just sit in the stands as little kids and wait for their first touchdown to be scored. And when the whenever they score touchdown, they used to throw out these little miniature footballs. And it was just like, hey, somebody got to get a miniature football. And soon as that one kid get a miniature football, we behind the buses for the rest of the game in your Pee Wee uniform because the high school would play on Friday, and then we would have our Pee Wee games the following Saturday. So you knew who was playing the next Saturday because everybody had their jerseys on, and we would just sit out there. We called it pick up and tackle. You know, some people call it pick them up, bust them up. I mean, but that was like my first childhood memory of football because it was like, okay, this is what everybody doing. I want to be like the other kids, and I want to be good. So I mean, you know, we played basketball here and there, but football was our thing. And to go out there with your peers at a young age and they accept you because, you know, they see you as a good guy. I mean, that was that first one. And then, you know, I had cousins that played on Friday nights too. And like looking up to those guys and getting the football so I can go behind the buses and emulate those guys, that was golden. Like we still today talk about like our I guess high school legends that was there because that's who we looked up to until we got to college.
Definitely. And that's why I think we love seeing all the little kids at the Edmonton Elks games, right? That they go all the way to the front when they're going around and throwing those little footballs because that's those kind of experiences that start shaping paths, right?
Yeah, those
shaping paths.
Yeah, no, that's it, right? That's where like we're kind of missing a little bit of that in Canada, right? Down in the States, it's so much different, and that's a wholesome one, right? That's a humble one.
Totally. And you came up through the University of West Georgia, and you totaled 126 tackles, 20.5 sacks, and 6 forced fumbles. You were named the All Golf South Conference twice in that span. So how did your college experience prepare you for the next step in your football journey?
Man, it was very interesting. RIP to one of my best friends, John Perkins. He was really the one who inspired me to want to be better than what I was because, like I said, coming from where I'm from, we poor. Like we one of the poorest. We in the top 25 of poorest counties, nations in the U.S. So for us, just going to college was cool. Like, okay, we here. But when I got there, I'm with city kids. So now it's like hey man, y'all, you heard of so and so, you heard of so and so. I'm like, I don't know none of these people. And they was just looking at me like, bro, these dudes are ballers. And I'm just like, okay, I'm a baller too. So I mean, what's the difference? But then, like, after my freshman year, like I said, my best friend, he was first team all conference. I was just like, damn, I want an award too. Like, I feel like I was good, but you know what I'm saying? They got to explain, like, bro, we going against this. You gotta outbeat this guy. You gotta have more stats than this guy. So I'm like, oh, that's it. Like, I thought they just pick you. So I'm like, okay. So my sophomore year, it was just all about, hey, who was all American at my position, who was all covering at my position, and it was just like he had this amount of sacks, this amount of tackle for loss, and it was just like that's what I'm going for. So my thing was if I could get those stats, they gotta pick me. You know, and I was the same way with my same way with my homeboy because I was just like, dang, I looked at his stats and I'm like, oh, I see why they picked him as linebacker. So I was like, I want that to be me. So that's where that drive and that energy came from because I'm just like I always wanted to be a guy that my teammates respected.
No, and I mean, you could definitely tell later on in your football career that's exactly what you built, especially up here in Canada, right? Now you didn't jump right from college right into the CFL, and while the NFL is generally the dream, instead you went the route of indoor football, getting drafted by the Spokane Shock and then playing with the Shock for a year. You were with a couple teams there, 4 years. 4 teams within your indoor years, bouncing between 3 teams for the 2008 season, and then you signed with the Calgary Stampeders in 2009, starting your run in Canada. So did you know much about the CFL before you came up north?
Nah, I didn't. I actually hung up on Chris Jones when he called me to offer me a contract because I didn't believe it. I was like, well, this was when arena ball was kind of at its height, so guys were making good money playing arena ball, and I had just got a contract from the Columbus Destroyers, so I'm like, I finally got my little break. I'm finna make it like 100 grand plus, so I'm like, thank you. And then a month later, the whole league folds, so I'm just like, you know what, I'm done with football, so I'm just finna you know, find myself in life, and he called me. Well, he gave me a workout after my birthday, which I knew. I'm like, man, this is after my birthday. I'm gonna enjoy my birthday and whatever happened at the workout happened. But just so happened I killed the workout, and like I said, he called me like 3 days later, and I hung up on him because I'm just like, man, y'all don't want me for real. And he called back and was like, "Is that anything, your connection bad or something?" I'm like, "Nah, I just hung up on you because I wanted to, I wanted to make sure it was real or not." So he called back and was like, "Yeah, man, it's real. I want to send you a contract today. So I want to email you a contract." And I was just like, "Oh shit, this is for real." So that's when I started looking like, hey, let me look at the CFL and see what's what. You know what I'm saying? See what they talking about. And of course, when I started looking for defensive players, the first person I see is Cam Wake. And I'm just like, okay, he had 16 sacks. I can go do that because I almost did it in the arena league. I played like 9 games. I had like 17 sacks. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm finna go kill this league too. But it wasn't as easy as everybody think it
No.
was. It wasn't as easy as everybody think it was because I got to Calgary. I'm like, okay. Then, like I said, I'm green. I don't know nothing. So I'm just like, okay, Calgary, we here. So we finna go play. They had rookie camp. So I'm just like, cool. This rookie camp, easy. I'm killing everybody. And then a few hey. And then a few days later, well, we get a break, and then we come back to team meeting the next day, and it's like a whole new team. So okay, daddy's on the phone. So I'm like, where all these guys come from? And they're like, yeah, this the team. So I was just like, well, who those other guys we were just on? Cause I was killing them. Man. We got a whole new team. We
I want
got
those other guys. Yeah, where'd those other guys go?
So I'm just like, well, there go my 20 sack season. This is
Yeah.
this is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, and like I say, the rest is history.
Well,
We have Jason from the St. Peter's Roundup over here, of course, saying started with the best team, of course. So
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, but the thing
well,
is, I could have helped them, but they love Charleston Hughes so much, so they didn't love me for real. So yeah, they can say that. But as soon as Charleston Hughes became available from the Eagles, they was like, all right, trade bait, bye kid.
bye. Well, and then your journey continued with a couple of years in Winnipeg, then a stop in Saskatchewan, and then you landed at Edmonton, where you became a fan favorite. Did you know much about Edmonton and the organization? You were already in the CFL, or was that
Uh,
all new again?
crazy assumption. I used to say I didn't want to play for Edmonton because I didn't like the uniforms at the time. I'm just like, them colors is not. And then it's like they didn't have nobody on the team that was really like making it look good. It was just like generic and basic, no gloves, no sleeves, no pizzazz. It's just like we businessmen right here. We put our hard hat on and go to work. All that pretty stuff out the window. So I'm just like, them colors is a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Then, like I said, I came in with Calgary with that black and red. I was just like, ooh, those are my favorite colors anyway. So I'm just like, it's almost perfect. Then, I went to Winnipeg and we had to figure it out a little bit, but it was still cool. But it was just like, I actually like the Saskatchewan because, they had just got these new uniforms. So I was just like, cool, but we was getting our ass, I mean, we getting our butt whooped. So I'm just like, man. I got to get out of Regina. There's nothing over here but football, and football ain't fun when you lose, and then they win the cup the next year after I come to Edmonton. But once I came to Edmonton and, people started telling me about the history and all the tradition, of course, me being a football junkie, I started doing my homework myself, and I was just like, okay, cool. Like, and the one thing that got me was I liked it because they say it's the city of champions. And I'm just like, I like that vibe. You know what I'm saying? The city of champions, that I can rock with that. So, like I said, it's been cool ever since I got here. And like I said, I'm still here. So,
Well, the city should have never gotten rid of the slogan. I don't know what we're doing. Put the signs back up.
I know everything should be back.
Yeah, but
yeah.
just like the Grey Cup should be back. And the last time the Double E won one of those coveted Grey Cups was 2015. You were on that team. Bow, 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 bow. And like in 2015, and I was there in Section X. Catherine had not been introduced to the Double E at that point, but 2015 was magical. It was a crazy run. Starts in Fort McMurray. You guys played the most northern game of football ever. I got to go to that one and see everything. Dexter McCoyle came in to make sure that game was won against the Riders. But, Odell, you had a massive role, a lot of sacks, a lot of somersaults. What was it like to finally become a Grey Cup champion? Like how like that feeling that gave those moments?
I mean, it was great because we was at the bottom, like 13. We got here, and it was just basically, what I'm saying. All right, who's next? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna whoop our ass next? And it was just like, man, when is this gonna stop? And the funniest thing was Mike Riley always in my face after the game, like, hey man, remember this. Remember this. I'm just like, bro, we suck right now. Get out my face. We can't stop nobody. We done gave up 50 points. You done threw 4 or 5 picks. We suck, bro. I don't want to hear this. Get out my face. But he would do it every game. Like, man, remember this. Remember this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then it was just like next year, we was basically winning, or we was in every game until the end. Like we went like 12-6, I think, something like that. But we was like the most penalized team in the league. We was averaging like 17 penalties, and Jones was like, and when we came in 15, Jones was like, man, we ain't finna do nothing different but change our penalties. And we was like, we basically had the same team in a sense, a few changes here and there, but he was like, he showed us the trend of the teams who won the Grey Cups and where they penalties was. So he was like, guys, if we can just go to 9, like, yeah, we had 17, 18 penalties. If we can just get to 9, we would win. And we did even better. We only averaged 5 penalties a game that year. And the results was that we didn't do nothing different. Nothing changed. Same offense, same defense. We just became a more disciplined football team. And 14-4, you had to come see us. So I still think that's one of the best Grey Cup teams in history just because of what the defense did. I mean, of course, we had other Grey Cup teams, but that defense is still probably one of the best defenses in CFL history because we only gave up, 15.2 points a game, which CFL ball,
Crazy.
that's amazing.
Gross. Like, I mean, and to watch that defense too, like that's where, I remember somersault after somersault. Looking at my buddy Clint, as we're at the Western Final, and offense wins games, but defense wins championship.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's the old adage, and that's how that 2015 season was. It was,
for
you had
sure.
to, like you said, you had to be there. It was amazing. To see the things that Michael Riley did, to see the things that you did. A Darius Bowman steady hands that year, like all of it. Calvin McCarty with every block, like it was a true bone moments that we've had. Like everybody was a brotherhood out there.
You followed Mike Riley to BC in 2018. And Edmonton was heartbroken, of course, but opportunity is opportunity. Later on in 2021, you finished your career after a stop in Toronto before finally hanging up the cleats. So, what did you know that it was time to retire?
Mamas, come here. I knew it was time to retire. I knew it was time to retire once this one came in the picture.
Yes.
So yeah, so once she popped up the Toronto year, I knew I was done because it was like, do I want to go to training camp or do I want to stay with my lady and have our first child? And she was a flight risk, so she couldn't fly. Her family, she actually has family in Toronto where she grew up at, but she was a flight risk, and I'm just like, hey, how we gonna get to how you want to do this? Cause I can't fly you over here, and I'm not about to leave you by yourself. Like, I done played enough football, so what we gonna do? She was like, go figure it out. So just like we had her like a week or so before training camp started. And I'm just like, that's too early. You ain't even healed up yet. So how am I gonna leave you? She was like, how about you just go set us something up and I'll make it. I was like, all right. I'm like, you sure? She was like, trust me, I'll make it. So we got out there. I got out there. Everything was cool. And they started having injuries. So I'm just like, oh, this is perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm the perfect plug person because Shane Ray had a hand injury, like a couple guys. So I'm just like, okay, what are we waiting for? And they was like, yeah, we're gonna put you on the practice roster for 2 weeks. I'm like, practice roster for what? Like, do you need to see anything? Like, I'm like, bro, I've been training, I'm working, I'm ready to go. Like, certain plays, somebody could tell me what to play. Like, let's not act like that. I'm a vet in this game. I can help them. They was just like, no. So I'm just like, well, I mean, I done played 13 years, bro. Y'all can send me back home if y'all gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, well, if you want to stay around, I'm like, nah, man, I got a new family. I want to go enjoy it, not be sitting around here worried about am I gonna play or not. So yeah, once I had her, she made it clear with my decisions on what I wanted to do. Like I got sacks, I got a ring. What else I need?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm here to enjoy life and play with this little baby girl right here.
Well, and like retiring didn't mean you were done making an impact for Canadian football. Sometime after working around Edmonton, talked to you down in Section X there, and we caught up on life in between then and now.
Yeah.
And you were working, I believe, at PME, and then you found your true calling in the creation of Athletes Compound, a training and development gym for prospects and athletes here in Canada and specifically in Edmonton. But you're making an impact across Canada. So how did Athletes Compound come to fruition?
Athletes Compound basically came about, because like I said, players, you do enough appearances and you have plenty of kids always want to, hey boy, you have plenty of kids always want to know, hey, what does it take to get better with the rules? So I'm just like, you know what? I started training kids for fun and, just a little side deal. I'm like, I kind of enjoy this. And then, this was before I retired. And then I was asking a couple of my Canadian buddies, like, why has it never been a Canadian superstar quarterback in this league? Like
Yeah.
Nathan Rourke is about the closest thing
That's
we done
true.
had, well, the league done had in a whole 100 years. Like, where's the Canadian superstar? The league that had running Canadian running back superstars or linemen, receivers. They done had every position except the quarterback. So I started driving around to see like how's the development of Canadian football because where we from, we start at 5 and it's intense all the way till you get, until you make it or you don't make it. So here, I'm like, it's not as intense because like calling a spade, the programs don't take the time out to invest into the kids like they would a soccer or a hockey. Whereas for us, it's football year round. You either playing, you lifting, you got off season training. So I'm like, cool. Let me step into that world because, like I said, it's a lot of kids in Edmonton and in Canada with talent that can play. So that's when I was like, you know what? Compound, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? it's been one of the best things I've ever did, since playing football.
And trying to make the next Canadian superstar. I think like that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to flip the script there.
Basically, that's what I'm trying to do because the kids here has talent, and the thing is, they need the exposure. That's all they need. These kids, like in the states, it's about, like I said, it's football heaven. Coaches that grew up in it, they know where they know places to go and things of that nature. But up here, all we have is developmental programs.
Right.
We have football Alberta, a good developmental program. You got the select developmental program. But okay, after all this development, it's time to display this talent. Because if you only develop, when are you gonna be able to show it?
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
those programs do a great job of developing talent. And I just, you know what? I'm gonna put that talent on display because it's plenty of talent here and it deserves to be on display because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is the NFL. Whether you're in Canada, Europe, don't matter what. You make it to the CFL from Canada, everybody gonna praise you. If you
Yeah.
don't make it, guess what? You got the CFL, which is a great fallback tool for a lot of Canadians. Because for Americans, if we don't make it, we just got the UFL and things of those
Mhm.
natures. But
Mhm.
for here, as a Canadian kid, okay, I'm gonna shoot for the moon. If I don't make it, I have Canada. And the thing is that I found that if you look at it, the CFL is built off American Canadians. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is Canadians that have been in the States playing football
Mhm.
their whole college career,
Mhm.
where if they don't make the NFL, guess what? We want you on our net leagues and you going first or second round.
Yeah.
Very rare do you see like a Taylor Elgersma scenario, right? It's always a
E-
Curtis Rourke type of scenario where maybe he doesn't. Who knows where his path is,
Mhm.
right? But he played NCAA. Same deal with Nathan Rourke. These athletes that are playing down in the states, they're Canadian. They can claim Canadian, just like Joe DeBlanco. Joe DeBlanco declared and then came up to
Mhm.
the Double E, right?
Exactly.
Cincinnati
And
Bearcats. That's a huge program.
Yeah.
exactly. And then, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they were like, ha, you sending guys to the States. But I'm like, I'm not just sending guys to the States. I just sending guys a place where they could finish living out their dreams. So whether it's to the States, whether it's youth sports, whether it's junior balls, my job
Mhm.
is to help you get to the next level. And see,
Mhm.
that's where people get the wrong impression of like, hey, you sending kids to the States, you sending kids to the States. I'm like, no, because everybody's not gonna be able to make it to the States because guess what? Yeah, I like you here, but how do you compare to the kids in the States? For example, I had a few kids to get scholarships, actually a lot of kids. But the coaches was like, hey, your offer only stands if you come to camp next year, next summer, and we see you with the rest of the guys. So yes, we have a scholarship offer for you, but for that scholarship to be committable and for it to stand, we just want to see you in camp and compete against
Mhm.
other American talent, which I
Mhm.
think that's a no-brainer for a parent. You telling the parent, hey, for free schooling, we just need to see your kid for a day down here. And
Come on.
man, y'all parents packing up, flying. And it don't matter the school because at the end of the day, it's free education.
Yes.
That
And
especially in the states with how expensive it is.
In
no matter
general,
where,
I
no
mean, it
matter
don't
no matter
matter.
where it is, free education is free
Yeah.
education.
100%.
So
No,
people forget that free education though, because they were like, oh, this school is not credible or this school has a terrible graduation rate.
Mhm.
So my thing is that is like, well, do you go to the doctor and ask him where he got his degree from, or do you ask to be healed?
yeah.
Yeah. No, that is very, very true. And we do
Right.
have Darren here in the chat saying, "Good on you, Adele. We need to build a talent pipeline from Canada into pro football."
Don't
Yeah.
worry, it's coming because in 2 years I done had over 30 scholarship offers from my
Love,
program into Canada. So
love it.
it's
Something's
the
working.
pipeline is working. And
Something's
and
working.
and if people want to go into more detail about why am I doing what I'm doing, because guess what? it works. I have receipts, so I don't have to go back and forth. I have the receipts, so if they want to see the receipts, we can easily
Yeah.
show them.
Yeah, and Stampeders Roundup
Mhm.
also here. Start finding the talent and develop
Mhm.
them while they are young. You got it 100% right, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I mean, fans are obviously a big proponent of what you're doing here. We are getting close to our 30-minute mark here, so do you want to go through herd chat?
Yeah, we do have a
questions?
couple of questions over here. We have one from Peter's Roundup. Jason over here is saying, "Hey, Odell, you played for 7 of 9 CFL teams. Without being biased, which one do you enjoy playing with most?"
I enjoyed the Winnipeg team, and then I enjoyed it go Winnipeg in the 2011 Winnipeg team, 2015 and 16, and actually 17 Edmonton team, and Wally last year in BC, the 2018 team. Those are my favorite teams.
All of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but I noticed 2013 Eskimos
Yes.
wasn't in there, so definitely not all of them. And then we have another question here. This is from Darren Popovich. What up, Darren? Odell, what are your thoughts on the Double E front seven going into 2025? Interested on your thoughts on Robbie Smith.
I mean, he's an up and coming, good Canadian talent. I think him and Jake Ceresna work well together, and it makes it even better that you got Coach Demetrius Maxey coaching those guys up. I think they have a good rotation up front. You got young the linebacker that won the award next year.
Nick
Uh,
Anderson.
yeah, Nick Anderson. I'm looking forward to having him a big year. Him and Niles did some real good things, but like I said, I'm looking forward to Nick to having a good year. Well, to see if he can produce again because um, they always say, yeah, first year that's on you, but now that they got film on you, what you gonna do? So I'm very confident in like I say, the guys. I haven't got a chance to watch them yet, but I think they're gonna be real good. Like I said, with Cole Massey and JC Sherrod, guys that know the game, they know what the tradition is here. I mean, a lot of it is a no-brainer. It's just, you know, waiting to see how fast that they can click together, how fast that the team can gel together by knowing each other, how they play. I think they'll be real good though this year. I'm still rocking with my boys regardless.
Let's
Love
go.
it.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a really good year. I think that there's a lot of improvements as well. We're gonna talk a lot about it after you're off of here. We are gonna let you go here momentarily because I know that you got your family to
Yep.
attend to, and
Yeah, we have one last question over here
okay,
from Jason. Most important question of all: how can podcasters like us and fans help to get involved with what you're doing?
that's a good question.
Man, and I'm glad that's a great question. So what I would like to do is I would like for all the podcasters to send me like their information because, like I say, what I'm what I'm doing for not only the Edmonton kids but this country, I think is major because think about it. Where can a college go up here and just say, "Hey, I'm looking for the best high school football player in the country"?
Yeah,
So I think the more that I can connect with with podcasters like yourself and Stampeders Roundup, where we can get out, hey, even just once a month. It don't have to be some regular, once or maybe twice a month. About having a segment about, hey, this is the next up and coming high school kid or the next up and coming high school player. Prime example, Harry only got probably one of the top O lineman, D lineman coming out in the country this year, and nobody really knows about it. You know what I'm saying? His name is Cooper Troy. So I want to make sure guys like him get that exposure that they deserve, and not just him. It's guys in other Providence that's just like a Cooper Troy, but guess what? Nobody knows about it because nobody's sending that his film out there. Nobody's talking about him. So I would like for the podcasters, almost in a sense, to let's just come together and have a segment on top high school players.
I love
because
it.
because what the showcase does, we have a rep in each province, all the way from Quebec, with QB movement, Miles Gibbons. We got Shamad in Toronto and Ontario. We have Keto Publa in Winnipeg. We have Jordan Lennon that's in Vancouver, and then you have myself that's in Edmonton. So we're all across the country where we have our top guys that's in our programs, and we would like other people to send us their top guys so we can get that exposure out there, because these kids deserve it. And if nobody does it, how can our kids get on a 247 sports or overtime if nobody's putting the kids out there?
Like provincial prospect of the month or something like that, right? Like
Love
some
it.
Exactly.
And you
And
know, we
it don't have to be a big list of kids,
got.
because we know our list of kids is not like the states. We could just take the top 5 kids from each
Mhm.
province, and we could just make a show and make sure people are tuned into these kids. Now kids in Edmonton are paying attention to kids in Toronto, like, hey, they said this was the top guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
instead of kids looking at kids in the States saying, oh, he's good, how about we look at ourselves and talk about ourselves and pump ourselves up? Because ain't no only things setting us apart from the kids in the States is that border.
Love
well,
it.
and like let's say like it's Carson Hartman, right? He's a big prospect right now.
Oh yeah, he's another one
So
from
he's
Salisbury.
and he like we always like pump his stuff. We got to shoot him down at the IFAF World U20 or
Yeah,
U19 or
U20.
U20 World
Yep.
Cup. Sorry. So you know, like I got to know him through the lens through there, and then you know, obviously befriended him on X, and then we're trying to pump him up a little bit because who knows where he'll go, and we're following his journey, and his journey is intertwining with yours, Football Alberta, like you know everything else. Like it's cool to see it all intertwine, and you're part of that web now, Odell. You are
Yeah.
part of the fiber of the Canadian, the rise of Canadian football grassroots, or the
Mhm.
resurgence story.
I
Like
love it.
Yes.
and
Yes,
that's part of the
I want to
solution.
be a pillar for it. I want to be a pillar, and I like I say, I want to work with everybody, because it's not about me. I done had my time. It's about these kids. So I would like to partner with whoever that's willing to help me help these kids. And because at the end of the day, like I said, it's about them and getting that. The more exposure we can get on these kids, the more exposure we bring to this country. And it all goes back to the draft, because if we can breed our homegrown talent, they don't have to always leave. But guess what? They always leave because they're talented enough, and that's what we want. Look at the CFL draft. There's 9 teams in the CFL draft. 7 picks were American Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no.
not
So,
enough
Not
Canadian
enough.
Canadians, you know.
Yeah.
Well, no,
exactly.
That's
So
good.
it's like the last 10 years, the first pick of the CFL draft have been a Canadian that's played in the States. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
let's
no,
let's let's get a Canadian drafted in the NFL. How about that?
I love it. We'll make it
Like,
happen.
let's not.
there you
Oh,
go.
he got
We'll
drafted
make it
fifth
happen.
round. All that. Like, let's breed more Canadians where they can leave from here and not have to go venture in the States.
Mhm.
Because if you look at that NFL Canada list that they put out not too long ago, out of it's 35 players, you got 3 U Sport players.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. Why do they have to leave home to
Yeah.
go get that? How about we come together and develop these kids better where they can get more exposure without having to leave their families early?
And that's where once again like Taylor Elgersma is just such a unicorn scenario because like you said, it's always a Canadian that goes down and plays in the States and said this was a guy who did it in Laurier and U Sports. Like, you know,
Exactly.
that's what we need more of. You're part of the solution, Odell. Yeah, we're Shotgun Sports Network. We have quite a few podcasts ranging across the team, so we'll definitely be in touch. But we will let you go. We don't want to keep you any longer, but awesome
Are
chat.
we good? Whatever we
Man,
got.
man, man,
Let's go.
we could talk for so long.
Yeah, y'all done got me started now. It's y'all fault.
Love it.
I love it.
That Canadian high school prospect showcase. Recommend that everybody goes on to Athletes Compound and checks out some of the slick clips, some of the work that Odell is doing. If you want to get involved, Odell just said hit him up. Any of our podcast friends. Where can our viewers find yourself and Athletes Compound on the social medias and online?
Man, first you can always come to me first. Odell Willis. My Instagram is Country Cane with a K 205. If you can't find that, you can go to Athletes Compound itself. We have a page there, and if you want to get involved with helping these kids get exposure, you can go to our showcase page at Can Football Showcase, and you can see all the kids that we're helping. Like I said, we're currently 31 scholarship plus in 2 years. IMG has in 2 years, IMG has selected 11 kids. So that's a big deal within itself, because if you know anything about IMG, it's self-explanatory. So, like I say, it's about the kids. So y'all go over to Canadian High School Football Showcase. Check
Love
them out,
it.
man. We support the kids, man. Like I said, we getting kids offers, and we just bringing exposure to not only Edmonton, but to this country, and shining the light on youth football.
Yeah, and do you have any big events or any showcases coming up?
Oh yes, we actually have two more showcases that we're working on. We just had our national showcase. Edmonton will always be the home of the national showcase, just because this is where we started at. But we're planning on two more showcases coming up to end the year. One in Montreal, Quebec, Montreal, whichever one. But we're going there because there's a lot of football talent over there, and we'll be making a stop in either Toronto or Winnipeg before then. But we're definitely doing more showcases because, like I say, we want to get more exposure for these kids. We actually had our first regional showcase this year in Toronto in January. Shamad did that one. He had like 100 kids there. The MVPs from that showcase, they won basically the golden ticket to come to the national showcase for free. And three of those kids currently has two has invites to colleges for their prospect camps, and we currently have one in talks with IMG.
Beauty.
Awesome.
No, Shmad Chambers, also former Laurier, awesome guy. So,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. Athletes Compound, once again, everybody, if you have not done so already, go check him out. Odell, we cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight. Pew, 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 pew. Man, this has been a blast. We're going to see you again soon. We didn't even talk about the East to the West. Happy Turkey Day. So, we're going to have you on another time. Simply the best, my friend. Simply the best. Man, thanks again. We hope you have yourself an awesome night, and hope to catch you again soon, man.
Thank you so
No
much.
problem. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me on, and I hope y'all have an even better night, and everybody enjoy the show.
Thanks a lot,
Much.
man.
Have a good
Appreciate it.
night.
Cheers.
Appreciate y'all.
And that was number 41, former Edmonton Eskimo, now known as the Elks, Odell Willis. Ladies and gentlemen, just got to give another applause.
That was great.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show Grey Cup champion and doubly alum, former safety and number 28 of the Edmonton Esks. It is Trent Brown. Trent, you made it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not the most tech savvy, but I came down to my basement. I fired up a laptop and I got the link going. I was trying to do it from my phone. I just put my girls to bed. I got 3 little girls, but I finally figured it out, and here I am. So it's awesome to be with you guys and talking sports on Thursday night, I guess. Yeah.
And a lot of sports there is, man. Once again, can't thank you enough for joining us. How was the atmosphere at Rogers Place last night?
Do you want to know what? It was off the hook. It was absolutely unreal. There's something special about that place. Lots of guys have talked about it. Kaner is a buddy of mine, and I know that he's talked a lot about it. It's a special arena. I've traveled a lot, traveled around a bit, and football, basketball, hockey, baseball. I've been to different sporting events, and there's something electric about that place. There's something special. There's something special about this team, and it was unbelievable last night. the thing I like most about it is the world, it seems to be polarized right now, and sports, it brings the city together. It galvanizes the city. No matter who you are, what you believe, where you're from, everybody's cheering in this, pulling on the rope in the same direction. And I just love it. Hugging, high-fiving, people you don't know, people screaming, right? I got to bring earplugs on Friday night because it's going to be nuts.
Yes, I saw, I was at home, so I didn't get to go, but I definitely saw the footage of everybody outside, and just, it looked like thousands of people. It looked like a sea of people, and just orange and blue, everybody jumping around, yelling. It did look
Crazy.
electric.
Crazy. And, it's something that my wife and I, we're a corporate sponsor of the hockey team. And so we sort of make it our date night, at least for the playoff run. And I was saying to her, like, it's a long playoff run in hockey, right? It's 7-game series and stuff. And even watching it, it takes a lot out of you. You got to stay hydrated. You got to stretch, like all of this stuff. Like, imagine playing, like, it's a long run. And like, I'm not a drinker anymore. But man, oh man, like watching a game every second night, at least in the finals this year, unlike last year, there's a 2-day break between a few of the games, right? So a person can catch up on their sleep, get rested. Because that game last night started early, 6 o'clock. But let's say you go to the pregame festivities, the concert, right? So you're there at 4. You're up till 11, 12. Like that's a big night.
You don't go to sleep immediately after either, right? There's a little bit of adrenaline there. You're like, it's a huge win, especially in the Stanley Cup Finals. You can't just go to sleep after the game.
100%. And do you want to know what? You get so charged up, you're so electric, and then I understand, and I always get out of there quick, and we park right under Rogers, so it's pretty easy for us. But some people, like, it takes them an hour or 2 to get home, right? You're stuck in traffic, you're trying to get home, but also the buzz, you're electric. A lot of people go home and party too. So, and I tell you what, this is going to be a party this year. If they bring the cup home, and I'm calling, I really hope it's 5 or 7 games because I want them to win it here, but the Panthers, it is going to be a war. It's that's a team that'll do anything to win, and it's not going to be easy.
Pedigree, right? They have the pedigree. This is their 3rd time there in 3 years. It's tough to deny pedigree. So
Yes.
they're not gonna roll over. They're not just gonna take it. And I will say the Oilers team does look way better than they did last year somehow, some way. A lot different. Things are a lot more different than the Cinderella run.
There's a different feeling this year. There's a lot of depth on that team. And, a lot of great teams, they need to get there and lose once before they really understand what it takes and how to win the game. And the same can be said in almost any sport. They say the same thing in football, getting to a Grey Cup and losing one helps you the next year. Super Bowl, the same thing. Those big games, there's a lot of distractions. Once you get there, once, twice, you know how to handle them that much better, eh? So,
and you would know, Trent. So, yeah, man, super thankful once again to have you here today. For our Elks fans and CFL fans in the herd chat, be sure to drop some questions. We already see some in there. So,
Chris Ager over here, just because we kept you waiting a little bit there in the room. He's the hardest hitting number 28 you'll ever meet. Better not keep him waiting.
Yeah. Yes.
All right,
yes,
so I guess we'll get into the heavy questions now. But we like to get to know you a little bit here. So you're Edmonton born and bred, an amazing career. Oh man. You've given back to the community, and I would say like on a daily basis. So, what started you? What was your first big sports memory that started the journey that you're on today?
Oh boy, there's so many. I was very fortunate to be surrounded by good people, good coaches, good people growing up. And like when you say that I give back to the community, do you want to know what this community has given me and my family so much? Learning about my family history was a big part, because when I was younger, I sort of didn't realize the connection to the sports community that because I was raised by my mom, that my grandfather, my dad, my uncles on my mom's side had. But I'm a third generation football player here. My uncle played for the Eskimos in the 70s, Molstead, and then Horty, my great uncle, played. My grandfather won a gold medal in the Commonwealth Games for Canada, the first ever Commonwealth Games. He also played for the Edmonton Superiors, which was a hockey team. My dad won a Memorial Cup with the Oil Kings. My grandfather won the Brier. So like a long history of sports. I was a Southside guy. You know, I played football at Scona and was very fortunate to have a very good coach, Johnny Belmont, who's I'm hoping getting inducted into the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame here soon. He's been around football his whole life, but was more than that, more than a coach. He was a mentor to a lot of young men, and just about life. And for young men, youth, there's not enough good sort of strong male leadership. And so he was a mentor for me, and he helped me. But when I look back, you know, like I was just a local kid and I didn't know what I could do or where sports would lead. And when I was playing at U of A, I guess that would have been the catalyst there. I had a lot of success. I had a coach there that gave me a chance to play my rookie year. I ended up being rookie of the year, and then they played me on offense and got to play both ways a little bit, and just had some success and got cut from a couple CFL teams, wound up here, and never looked back, right? I started out playing special teams here, and there was a guy, Dan Murphy, a very high draft pick that they kept putting in front of me, and we went back and forth a little bit. But once they gave me the job as a starter, I think 1995, I was, you know, leading the league in interceptions and had a couple all-star years, 96 and 97, and started working out hard and started knocking some guys out. And that was sort of my claim to fame. Like I was really lucky because I won a Grey Cup really early in my career, 1993. Had a great defense, surrounded by great players here. Like just such an opportunity here to play with great teams, great players, and just the tradition of winning that was ingrained in us, like from day one, man. The all of the traditions that we had, and then the memories, the lifelong friends that I made playing football. You know, I'm still pretty tight with Jed Roberts and lots of other guys. I just got a business referral the other day. A woman came in and she said that she was seriously hurt in a motor vehicle accident and she didn't know what to do. And I said, well, how did you hear about us? And she said, Kavis Reed said I had to call you. and I haven't even seen Kavis in many, many years, but the brotherhood, right? Like you just remember, and you know guys that you can trust. And as soon as she said that, like I just said to her, we are gonna take care of you. And and I think that Kavis knew that I would when he told her that. And if Kavis was doing anything, I mean, I could send anybody to him too. Like I don't know if you know Kavis. Have you ever had him on your show?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Well, when you reach out to Kavis, tell him Trent Brown said that he'll 100% do your show, because he will. That's the kind of guy he is, man. He's just the nicest man you'll ever meet, and he made his home here, and he's a beautiful person. And tell him I said that.
Like, I guess to add on to that, like what was it like going into battle with those guys in the 90s? Like that type of brotherhood, right?
Do you want to know what we stuck together? We We knew who we were. We knew, and I'll give you a quick example of this. 1996, we go to the Grey Cup against Flutie, playing for Toronto in Hamilton, and the forecast wasn't for a blizzard that day. And I was rooming with Derek McCready, and we were laying in bed visualizing the night before, and when we woke up in the morning and we saw the snow flying and the blizzard, like, we knew it was our day. Like, we knew when the times get tough, right? That's who we were, that when the elements were tough. And now that leads me into the name change and stuff. We wore that name as a badge of honor, bro. We wore it as a sign of strength and resilience. And it was like, when the times got cold, we just thought, this is Eskimo weather. This is us. And no one wore long sleeves. Flutie was scared. It was right. And they had a good team, but we knew when it got cold and like the field was covered in snow, nobody could beat us. Nobody could, right? Because we were a gang. We're coming hard. And we believed in each other, and we believed in winning. And we had a great coach, Ronnie Lancaster. And there were a few times in that game where doubt sneaks in. And like one, they had a guy named Jimmy the Jet, and he ran one back on us, ran back a long kick. And I remember Gizmo walking up and down the bench saying, they better not kick the ball off to me. And I don't know if you've seen the highlight with him running with the do-rag hanging out the back of his helmet. And they kicked it to Giz, and he took it back. And he came to the bench. He took off his helmet. And what made that amazing was not the fact that he ran it back, but the fact that before the game, when everybody was sitting in their stall, silent, getting ready for the game, Giz walked around and told every guy to a man that he was going to take one back that day. Yeah. And he said, when I do it, look at yourself and ask yourself what you're going to do. And when he did it, it's like everybody looked at each other and we're like, fuck, he called it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Right? And like when a guy does that and he calls it, it's just, and I'll tell you something about Giz. Giz in every big game, like I think about the 80, what was it? Oh boy, was it the Grey Cup they won in Vancouver against Toronto? He ran back the field goal there too and won him the game. Like in big games, that guy showed up to play, but the thing that made him great was he told everybody what he was going to do before he did it. And
he shoots. He points, he shoots. Like he calls stuff, right? Like that's
bro, that galvanizes the team and makes you believe. You know, it's like what Messier did when he played for the Rangers, and he said, and he guaranteed the win. Yeah. You know, guys are like, whoa, what the hell is he doing? But you better fall in to place when Messier says that you got to, right?
Well, exactly. And having that faith, right? Having that faith. 1987, by the way, is that Grey Cup, as per Chris.
87.
But to be able to look to your left and look to your right and have faith in the guys that are playing alongside you and know that guys are going to execute their roles.
Yes. Oh, bro, it's like when you go into the huddle, and I got a picture up on my wall somewhere here with that, and you look around, and on that picture, like on our defense, Willie Pless, Leroy Blue, Cavis Reed, like Benny Goods, Melvin Hunter, like you're talking about 8 out of 11, 12 guys are all Canadians. Like, and so like it's a race to see who can make the next play, right? Like you are battling Malcolm Frank, like you go down the list, and yeah, like it was just an honor and a privilege to play with those guys and on those great teams. And when you're surrounded by great players that have a history and tradition on a team that wins, we knew that we were going to win, and we knew that when the games got tight, when the games were on the line, that we knew how to win. And that's something that over the last 5 years, this team sort of lost for a while, but it's coming back.
Yeah.
But we do want to we got to get into that.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, we know that after your football career, you became a lawyer, joined your father's firm, James H. Brown, specializing in injury law. Since then, James H. Brown and Associates has become one of the biggest advertisers of sports sponsors in all of Edmonton. And we know we have been privy to comments, suggesting that the EE were not necessarily putting any significant value into a lot of sponsor relationships, maybe team relationships, just that whole bone aspect that we know and we have seen in the past.
The Sports 1440 interview.
Of course. And so now that Larry Thompson is in the picture, do you think that this will change?
I 100% think it'll change. It's not only Larry Thompson. It's, Chris, very early on when they announced that he had the job, he picked up the phone. He asked me to make some calls, and he picked up the phone and called a lot of guys and said, I can't do it without you. And at that point, I was ready to pull, because I'll tell you what, I was only around because I thought the team wouldn't make it. And I really believe in sports here in Edmonton, and it was a part of my family history, and it's a part of my history, and sports has given me so much that I wanted to support the team through those tough times, because nobody else really did. Everybody was pulling out. The fans didn't want to game, and I kept that hope, and I'm an optimist, and I wanted football to survive in Edmonton so it could give to people what it gave to me, man, because I grew up watching that team, and then I got a chance to play for it and live a dream. So when he came, I was going to pull out, and Chris came to me and he said, Brownie, I need you for 2 years. And he made some calls, and we met with other business people, and I asked friends and other businessmen to help me to come on a journey. Like, let's do something meaningful and see if we can save football. And I don't know, to be honest, if there's a future for the CFL and what that looks like, but I'm not going to let it go down without fighting and doing my part, right? Because that's who I am. That's what I learned, like out on the field. Like, we don't give up. We don't walk away. And I believe that Chris and the people there right now are going to turn this whole thing around. And Larry Thompson and Deb, they have some money, but more importantly, they believe in this team. And I can tell you what, from my point of view, I was a fan of his as soon as he drove that truck right through the Calgary bench.
Yes. That was classic.
Man, we ain't ever seen anybody do that. Driving
Come on, man.
Love it.
Come on, man.
How do you win the fans over in one swift move? Will you drive the fire truck into the Calgary Stampeders bench? But it's not only those kind of moves, right? Bringing back the sign that's in the locker room, and then of course, who comes with the sign? The sign went with who? It's Dwayne Mandrusiak. What are your thoughts on the return of Dwayne Mandrusiak?
Yeah. So look, that move made a lot of people mad, and the biggest group that it made mad were the people that bleed green and gold, but throughout the league that know him and know what he brought. And when I played on that team, he was the keeper of the stories, the keeper of the traditions. And so when I used to go to him at the start of every game, he put air in my helmet. And that's where we learned about guys like Kepley and Schaaf and all of the traditions that were carried along by that guy that's got, what has he got, a dozen Grey Cup rings? Like when he writes his book, like, there's stories that nobody would even believe were true. But what happened to him was a mistake, and it was sad, and they righted it wrong that everybody knew was wrong. and hopefully it can galvanize people, and I think it will. It'll certainly galvanize the alumni. It'll galvanize guys that played and worked with him, because he's a super guy, and we all love him, and they love him around the league, bro. And he was much more than an equipment manager. That guy did everything for us, and I still consider him a very, very true and dear friend.
It was heartbreaking, talking to him, let's say even a year ago about the Double E and Commonwealth, and like knowing that he hadn't been back in the building. And as we've said before, like if you get Dwayne Mandrusiak back, you get Bone back, but the team's been missing Bone for the last 4 to 5 years, right? Even the U of A Golden Bears got Bomb, Brotherhood of Mad Bears, but they got more of a brotherhood over at Foot Field than we do at Commonwealth Stadium. So the alumni factor, you think that the alumni relations are going to get better than with having Dwayne back?
It's all getting better, bro. Like Hervey, Chris, Mark, these are guys that are players, coaches. And I'll tell you a story about Chris. So I had retired, and they asked me to sit in the press box for a game and talk about the game and do color and give out the player of the game. And we took a shit kicking, like we got blasted. And I didn't know who to give it to. Nobody played a good game, but I knew that, like, there's one guy that never stops fighting, right? Like a warrior. And Chris was that guy. He was always battling, right? Like there's some guys that don't take losses hard. And there's other guys like me that are devastated every time you lose. And Chris is one of those guys, right? So I said, okay, well, I'm going to give the watch to Chris, because I know that even if they lost, he never gave up. He was battling everything. And so I go in the locker room, and we go up to Chris, and somebody, I can't remember who it was, if it was Halsey or somebody, but said, Chris, Brownie chose you to get the watch, and he is here. And I handed the watch to Chris, and Chris threw the watch. He goes, I don't want that fucking watch. Get it away from me. I'm not taking a watch for this game. And that's just the kind of guy he is. But more importantly, Chris is a guy that knows what it's all about, that lives here in the community, that knows this city. He's played on the team. He's won Grey Cups, and he knows what the traditions are about. And what he found when he came here shocked a lot of us, that the guys weren't working out together in the off season. There was no workout programs, the kind of stuff that was going on that, you just can't win in professional sports when you're doing those types of things. But there was a series of bad decisions. Dwayne was one, but the people that they hired, the people they had at the top were the wrong people. The wrong people making the decisions. I think the board made some mistakes, and I'm not going to go back into that rant. But the ship has been righted. It's not going to happen overnight. It might take a few years, but this team is going to start winning again, and we're going to be having fun in Commonwealth Stadium, because, like I always say, there's some coaches that say it's not about winning, it's about having fun. And I always say there ain't no fun like winning.
Exactly.
Winning and having fun.
And you know what? It goes hand in hand as well, because if one thing that we know for sure is that as soon as the team starts winning, the more fans will be coming to the games, right? And so let's 100%. turn into that. Let's turn into that topic, and we do have a few questions here in the fan forum over here in the chat. But for now, in the her chat, I'm not the one that says that. But we do have a couple of comments here. Steve Benassi saying, I've been going to games since 1969, and a fan is truly measured in the bad times. So that's one of the things that we have seen.
Yeah.
But the question is, we do have over here, what should the team do to get fans back in the stands and the city kind of behind the team again? What do you think? It's not going to be easy.
Okay, so I think that it needs to be fun to go to games again, and so winning is certainly a big part of that. But there has to be a good fan experience. It's got to be family friendly, and they've taken steps to do that. I have 3 young kids. My kids love to go to the games now, But it's got to be an exciting brand of football on the field. It's a combination of things, I think, and I think that the team is headed in the right direction. And listen, we are making a bid for the Grey Cup here in 2027.
Oh.
And if this team can get things turned around and we can start to win some games, and I think they've got the personnel out there to do it, the best Canadian talent. Like I've seen this Trey Ford play, and it was mind-boggling to me that they'd be losing games and they wouldn't give that kid a chance to play, because that kid can light it up with his legs, with his arm. I'm looking forward to seeing him play when he gets a chance. And the first thing that Chris did when he came in, by the way, was he called him and he said, "You're my guy. I believe in you." And I think that he needed that, and it's going to be fun watching this kid mature and hosting the Grey Cup and playing in it. Like, that's fun. And I'm going to be involved helping to organize some of the activities around the city, and we're going to bring it back. We're going to bring football back in a way that it's never been here in the city of Edmonton, and it's going to be fun. And that's providing they give us the Grey Cup and they don't give the cup to Calgary. But I always say, you know why everybody from Calgary drinks out of a saucer?
Why?
Why?
Because all the cups are in Edmonton,
Let's go! Oh man, I want to run through a wall and place kick for the double E myself or something. I get crushed, but yeah, man, no, and
get the sign back up. Get the sign back up. 2027 Oilers Stanley. Elks
Carnival of
Grey.
Champions. Carnival of Champions is what we're gunning for here. Oilers Stanley would be great. But to get a double E Grey Cup in there at the same time,
what it's going to do for the kids, man! It's like how much fun did we have back in the '80s when the Oilers and the Eskimos were unbeatable? They just win every year. Like, come on!
The city would shut down. I think everybody would just be like, "We're not working."
Let's have a parade.
Yeah.
Let's have a parade.
Bring it back, right? Bring it back.
Oh.
All right, we got a couple more questions for you here, Trent, and then we'll let you carry onward with the night. But
man, the NBA finals are on right now too. The NHL finals, the CFL is kicking off. We got the game one of the NBA finals. Like, what the? This is glorious.
Best time of the year, especially with double E football back. Like green and gold glory. All right, we do have a fan question here.
This one's a really good one from John. Alumni, do you think CFL players in the middle of the season should go to the Olympics for flag football?
In the middle of the season?
Is it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's right now. Hey?
Well, no, 2028. So in 2028 in LA, they're going to allow CFL players to jump over if they want for flag football. In the event
Olympics?
The Olympics in flag football. Like, I guess
question.
The commissioner did say he would allow it.
Well, so that's a tough question. So my answer would be no. Like if you're making a run, your team needs you. No one's walking away. However, like, if you're a backup and you're not playing and you're a kicker, if you're on the practice roster, then you got to do what's best for you, right? But that's a tough question, because when I played on a team, I would never leave that team in the middle of a season for anything.
But what about a national team? Would you leave for your country's flag football team?
Oh boy. Do you want to know what?
Hard questions here.
Yeah, no. Like I personally wouldn't, but that's a question that every athlete has to ask themselves. And with the teams that I played on, the brotherhood that we had, and the direction that we were going, the rope that we were all pulling in the same direction, no one was leaving those teams to go and play in the Olympics. Now, having said that, if somebody made a different choice, would I hold it against them? I might, if it was my team, like if it was here. But geez, that's a tough question because the Olympics is the Olympics. It's a once in a lifetime, right?
Well,
So
didn't in the NHL they had a little break so that
but there's no all-star break in the CFL, right?
I know, but I mean, if it's the Olympics, like
everybody takes 2 bye weeks. Like, what do you do there?
The season a little bit. Let some really.
You would only miss one game because the Olympics is what it's 10 days. It goes by pretty quick, so you'd miss one game because football games are only one a week. But that's a really good question and something that I've never really thought about a lot. But John is thinking, and he knows more than I do because I had no idea that flag football was even in the Olympics.
Yes, that's just something that recently got added for sure.
Coming
and they
soon,
have
yeah.
it in LA 2028. It will be a new sport in the Olympics.
Oh,
so
I feel like it's a 1 year only. I don't know if it'll make it to the next Summer Olympics, depending on where it's at. But
a little trial, see if it works.
All right, 2 more questions. We'll do a fun one, and then we'll close it out. I'll get this one, and you got the next one. Okay. So, Trent, got to keep it a little bit fun. You've played a great career. What was your all-time favorite game that you played?
Oh, man. All-time favorite game was probably the 1996 Grey Cup. Even though we got robbed by the refs, and I don't know if you guys know that story, but it was a bad call. Flutie ran a quarterback sneak on 3rd down, and he never had the ball. He fumbled the snap, and Glenn Rogers Jr. picked it up and was running for 6. And even if you blow it dead, he never had the ball. So it's still our ball, and we win that football game. But the refs not only blew it dead, but they gave him a 1st down, said that he had a 1st down before he dropped the ball. And there was no instant replay back then. But what a fun game, right? They wheel the nylons out at halftime on like the back of a trailer. And it was just CFL at its best, and I was sort of the quarterback of the defense back then, and Flutie and pinball, and I had a lot of tackles. We had a great defense, and we did enough to win that game. And I'll never forget when the ref made that call, Ronnie Lancaster came into the locker room, and he looked at everybody, and he said, "I don't want one word about that ref." He said, "We lost this game, and that's sports. And anybody says one word about that call, and it'll be the last day that you wear this uniform." So nobody did, and we walked out of there proud because we played a good game and a great team. Like, I don't know if you remember those teams, but we had Danny McManus and Darren Flutie and Eddie Brown. Remember, he kicked that ball back up. It was just like that game had everything, the long returns, kicks, it drops the ball, Eddie Brown, and he kicks it up. And it was funny because we used to play hacky sack with a football before the games. And Ronnie used to get mad because he thought that we weren't taking the game seriously. And so he told us that he didn't want us playing before the Grey Cup. And then Eddie drops the ball and he kicks it back up into his hands. And at that point, Ronnie came running down the bench and he goes, "Brownie, you guys can play hacky sack whenever you want." Because it's such an exciting play. And when you watch like the best plays in the history of the CFL, they'll always play that play because the field was covered. And Eddie Brown could fly. Like, I don't know if you remember that, but we also had Jim Sandusky on that team. And then the killer defense. And I was rooming with Derek McCready, 2 sacks in that game. But, yeah, just when you play on teams like that and in games like that, they're really – you just don't ever forget them. And so 1996 Grey Cup in Hamilton, even though we lost, that's the best game that I ever played. Yeah.
Chris Agar here in the herd chat. It was a fumble. I'm still burnt about it 19 years later. Stephen Nassy is there with him. I've seen the highlights. I've seen the highlights, especially Grey Cup games. I definitely try to file through those. And disappointing for sure. It was a fumble. It was definitely a fumble. But
not even close. Not even close. And Glenn Rogers Jr., shout out to Glenn Rogers Jr., best closed side half to ever play in the CFL. The only guy that I ever played with that could shut down Alan Pitts, just get right up in his face and talking smack all day long. Glenn Rogers Jr., G-Rock.
I love
And
it.
hearing about like Rod Lancaster too, like Lancaster is just so freaking hard edge, man. Like, I wish I would have grown up like, you know, being a Double E fan back then in those days, because like that's some smash mouth football right there. That's
I have heard the stories
and
for sure.
Trent Brown, you know, all-decade team to the 1990s as well, along with a lot of your teammates. Jed Roberts, fantastic guy. You know, you guys were legendary back then in those days.
Come on, man. We still are.
Oh. Hey, legends never die. Legends never die, and here you are, Trent, okay? That's the way it goes.
Not in our own minds, anyways. Not in our own minds.
But still legends. And here, we'll do the last question so that we can let you go and enjoy the rest of your night. But really, about 99% of Edmonton knows about James H. Brown. And whether you're giving back to the community with Evander Kane, you know, the company seats at Rogers, downing some food at the Elks tailgate, you're always involved. So can you tell us a little bit more of the highlights from your work with the community and, you know, even personally with James H. Brown Associates? Well,
yeah. No, we always have the philosophy, the more you give, the more you get. And so maybe it's selfish, but, you know, a lot of athletes, when they get done playing, they miss the guys. They miss the community around them that they've built. And so my dad always did a lot of that, but I just wanted to do more. I wanted to be part of sports, and I wanted to be part of the community, and I love kids, and I'm very lucky because I have 3 now. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Meadow. It's her birthday today.
Meadow, happy birthday.
Lightning Brown. And a shout out to Riley Moon, my 3 little girls. But so when you're out in the community, that's what makes this the City of Champions, is that people give back, we're a part of. And I just feel like this community gave me so much. I was able to play ball here in my hometown for the university and then pro football. And it just feels good to give back. It feels like the right thing to do. And it makes me happy. And when people ask me, you know, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Like, that's what I say, be happy. And, you know, there's nothing that makes me happier than giving back to a community that's given us so much. So, you know, short and sweet, because it makes me happy, because it's the right thing to do, and because I love this city, and I love the people in it.
The people in it love you. You know, you're one of those people that people listen to when you talk. It's if Trent Brown speaking up, you know, and even within the Alumni Association, you know, Jed Roberts is pretty similar in that sense. Like when he ended up posting, like, look, this organization's rotten to the core. I'm like, oh, hot damn, we got a problem in Double E land. Like clearly these guys have gotten away from the Eskimo way. So it's special to have you on tonight. It's special to witness what you do in the city of Edmonton. And then, like you said, right, the city gives back in that way. And that's what this team's gotten away from. I see you as kind of like a cog for, you know, even the movement right now. But really for Edmonton sports community, we're really lucky to have you, Trent, and James H. Brown as well. You know, you guys just do fantastic stuff. And there's a reason why we see your name and your face everywhere on billboards and everything else. You know, it's a testament to what you've built, what you're doing, and we can't thank you enough. This has been fantastic tonight.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you're doing, because you're doing a great job, and keeping football alive and talking the talk and walking the walk. And so thank you for calling me. Thank you for having me on, and blessings, light and love to you and everybody that's listening. Let's go, City of Champions. Bring the sign back.
Bring it back. Get the City of Champs sign back at the entrance to Edmonton. Trent Brown has said it first. Once again, thanks a ton, man. We will let you go. You have yourself a fantastic night, Trent.
Thank
You guys
so
have a great
much.
night too. Cheers.
Cheers,
Great
brother.
being on here.
Let's go. See you at the tailgate.
See ya.
And that was former safety of the Edmonton Esks, number 28, Trent Brown. Fantastic guy.
Yeah. Stories. I love having alumni here in our show.
It's the
Because
stories.
and how passionate they are about the team and how much they still believe in the team, regardless of what has happened in the last little bit. They still believe so much in this team. And with those stories and the passion, I just hope that with the direction that this team is taking, that they really, really are taking some of those stories to heart.
Please welcome to the show, Vanier Cup and Grey Cup champion, former Double E, offensive lineman, number 66. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Matt O'Donnell.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, go Jays, go.
And go Jays. Definitely big game on right now, but an even bigger guy on our show. So thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Does this time of year give you like FOMO or nostalgia even?
Absolutely, yeah. This was always like that end of the season, but playoffs, like make or break. Like usually every game counts. The second you switch to November, that internal switch hits, and you're like, okay, it's time to go on a playoff run here. And like you mentioned, 2015, we went on that run, but for a period of 4 or 5 years, we went to a Western or an Eastern final that many times. So definitely nostalgic, and I'm pretty jealous of the playoff football, but I'll just be comfortably watching from home now.
No, definitely. And I mean, we see you out there. We're going to talk about all of this. So we see you're out there still in the community as well and enjoying football as a spectator now. So, yeah, once again, really appreciative, man. If you are watching live right now, make sure you get your comments and questions into the show, and we will bring them onto the show. Question number 1, though, we do like to get to know our guests on this show. You're a good old Canadian boy from Comox, BC, but you've been all across the country. So what was the first major sports memory that got you started on the path to becoming a football player?
We used to, we lived in Comox, we lived in Chase, Nanaimo. So we grew up 2 older brothers. We used to watch a lot of hockey, a lot of football, a lot of sports in general. The earliest memories are probably going to BC Place and seeing the Lions play. And then shortly after that, I was one of those little Timbits hockey players that got to play in the intermission of the Vancouver Canucks game. So I remember, I was probably still like 6 feet tall back then when I was 8 years old, but they could probably pick me up pretty easily. But those are probably the 2 most fond memories.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's always, I love hearing those when the core memory starts so early, because that you know that it's a passion, for sports or whatever it is, and that you're gonna pursue it even more. And I know that because for our kids, the core memories are football, and those are the ones that they're remembering right now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe that will continue on as they grow. But you played football for Holy Cross and Kingston in high school, and then graduated to playing for Queen's Gales, earning a Vanier Cup in 2009. We said. With the first team All-Canadian honors for both 2009 and 2010. So what would you say at that point contributed to your success?
A lot has to do with my older brothers. My oldest brother, Sean, went to Queens before me. He played there for 4 years. They had some playoff success, but didn't quite get over the hill. They lost in the quarter of the semifinals every other year. They had a great team, and they always pushed me. They were very competitive, myself and my brothers, but, we'd work out together, exercise together, do everything together. We still do that. He's, RCMP in Leduc, Wetaskiwin now, so I get to see him, every week or so. But yeah, they push you to be better. It always helps when someone's been there before you. Here's the roadmap. Here's where I succeeded. Here's where I failed. Here's where you can do better. But Queens is a great program. They just got a brand new stadium a couple of years ago, brand new facilities. I got to visit out there a couple of weeks ago when I visited for a friend's wedding in Peterborough. Made the trip up, showed the family the alma mater, and got to talk to the football team really quickly. And they just put a smack down on McMaster last weekend. I made sure to text Andrew Jones that just to remind him. And then, we got semifinals this week coming up.
Huge over in Ontario. And I do got to ask, how much fun was it being a part of such a good group, such a talented group of players in the Vanier Cup here?
Well, we had, even the teams before us, there was a lot of all-stars and Heck Crichton winners and all that stuff. And then, it was our turn to kind of build on that. And some of those guys, Danny Brannigan, Jimmy Allen, all those guys set records that are still there to this day are there. Dan Village is one of the highest scoring kickers, highest scoring players in Queens history. Danny Brannigan's number one passer. Mike Giffin's number one running back. So guys that I got to play with, they had the wall of records there. And like most of the guys I played with are, 1 through 5 somewhere on there. So it was pretty sweet to see the trophy cases and it brought back a lot of nostalgia. Definitely some of the fun days.
Oh, it's really cool. You got to be there recently, right? And it's always nice too to get to show your family, get to be there in those environments. And did you get to see any of your old teammates or?
Yeah. One of my good buddies who was actually getting married, Chris Ionides, it was his wedding. We were in town for that. He was my roommate at Queens when the Vanier got together. A number of friends and colleagues and teammates were all still close to this day, and they were at the wedding. So it was a good kind of reunion. But it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. 16 years ago now. Well, Grey Cup was 10, so maybe I'm just getting old.
Oh my goodness, that's so fun though. It always makes me a little regretful that I wasn't into sports a lot more in my university years, because that just sounds like tons of fun.
And you went to U of A.
I did. I was just academics, no sports whatsoever. So, unfortunately, but so be it. After college, you were drafted in 2 different leagues. Most would assume CFL and NFL, but NBA was one of those callings. Can you tell us more about being drafted in the NBA?
Well, it was of course, I'm coming out to play pro football, and of course, the NFL's having their lockout in 2011. I'm like, woe is me. Of course, it happens to me on my year, of all things. And my agent at the time represented me for basketball after the football lockout. We're just holding serve, waiting for some NFL shots, and then we're just rolling the dice. We're like, okay, well, we'll market you as a multi-sport athlete, which I was. I always played a different sport every term in high school, and then played a lot in college as well. Had a couple tryouts, and then just kind of went from there. But I was pretty close to being on a plane for the tryout with a third team before the lockout ended. And then 2 days later, I was in Cincinnati for the next 2 years. So it went pretty quick.
It's a little quick, but that's still cool though.
Well, exactly.
Who gets to see I'm a professional football player, but there was this little stint I had.
Well, and you played in high school, right?
Yeah, just high school. We won the city championship in Kingston. Yeah. Obviously, you get to the college level, your full focus is on football. Seasons overlap and stuff like that. You can't quite multi-sport. And then you obviously work and you have your academics and your training and stuff like that. So it was mostly just focused on football.
Oh, that's it's pretty cool still. I mean, somebody took a chance on you anyway. So pretty sweet. And I mean, obviously, you did make it over to the NFL. You were with the Cincinnati Bengals for a bit, as you had mentioned. They even signed you to an extension. Unfortunately, you didn't really see much playing time or any playing time during the regular season. So what can you speak on with your experience in Cincinnati? Like, what was that period of time like?
I attribute that to kind of my growth period, my learning to be a pro. You're coming out of college where you're managing, maybe a part-time job, and you got academics and you got football. And then when you go play professional football, it is purely football. Every decision you make is a decision for yourself. You are an organization within itself. Everything you do is about football, how to be better and extend your career. So I had a great mentor at the time, Andrew Whitworth. It's kind of funny seeing him as an announcer now on watching NFL games, but he's a great dude. I was some no-name kid out of Canada, and he mentored me really well, never turned me away, ever offered advice, coached me up. I got some good pictures of him when he used to teach me different technique work and stuff like that during training camps. I still got 1 or 2 that are on my phone that are just like, oh, yeah, he's like, you had an all-pro guy who had no problem taking essentially some undrafted schmuck out of Canada, not even their same country, and kind of so I told myself if I ever kind of got to the top of the hill that I'd return the favor. So hopefully I was a good mentor to the guys, the later I got in my career.
No, and, that career in the CFL started with the Double E, really. Eventually, the then Eskimos traded for your CFL rights from Saskatchewan, and you began your road to greatness here in Edmonton. So Besides a short return to Cincinnati in 2015, you played through your entire career as a member of the Double E. So I think first question here is why Edmonton, Matt?
Well, I feel bad for him. Saskatchewan fleeced him in the trade. They got stuck with me, so couldn't get a worse part of the deal there. I ever had to check on who they traded for. I forget who it was, but he must have been a perennial All-Pro or something like that. One of lots of great guys or something. I'm not 100% sure. Poor Edmonton got satiated with me, and then I was like, least I can do is kind of call it home. No, I was lucky. I love the province. I love the people. My brother and a couple close friends are out here working oil and gas, obviously. And then obviously met the beautiful wife, had the kids. She's another U of A grad. So she's not the most athletically inclined, more of an academic as well. But so also spells Catherine the evil way with a K. That's how
Evil way. I like that. Evil way.
That's the first time I've heard that. So now
most Cathys are with a C.
Listen, that's going to make me self-conscious going forward. No, I'm just going to embrace it. But yes, Edmonton indeed is a place that you call home to this day. You did earn the 2015 Grey Cup championship ring to your efforts. So that's almost exactly 10 years to the date. So how special would you say that team was?
Just kind of seemed like everything kind of fell into place. I came back. I think Mike Riley came back from injury a game before me, and he tried to get through a Labor Day win down in Calgary. I think they fell just short. I came back, and then we went on a bit of a run where, whether it was offense, defense, special teams, whoever needed to rise to the occasion to win, we won a game, whether it was 14-10 or 42-39 or whatever happened. We just amalgamated and went on a run. Obviously, we won 8 in a row in the regular season, got the bye week, hosted, whooped that team from down south in the finals, and then hoisted the Grey Cup in Winnipeg that year.
Oh, so good. Poetry, like you'd mentioned. And that season started in Fort McMurray, which it's obviously special to me as that is my hometown. But, it was, you guys were displaced a little bit because of FIFA Women's. And then, of course, there's so many injuries. You guys were crazy to watch out there. James Franklin and Jordan Lynch. That was crazy. And those were great quarterbacks. But of course, you got to work with Michael Riley, which is cue for everybody to take a drink on this show anytime I mention Michael Riley. But
once an episode, every episode.
Yes. But I do have to ask, what was it like holding the line for Michael Riley? Like, that leadership factor and, the warrior status that he holds.
No, he definitely made sure we earned our paychecks. He liked to hold it and take the deep shot, so we had our work cut out for us. We had a great offensive line. Mike was a great quarterback. We were just a close-knit team. We used to, go to the movies together, go to restaurants together, hang out together after games, barbecues together, days off together, family stuff together. So we were a very close-knit group. And that carried on for years and years until obviously the team went all their separate ways. We all get, old and retire and move on and stuff like that. But no, he's a great dude. Yeah, like you said, I remember having to block for him in 2013. I felt bad for him because we weren't the best O-line, but we took that on the chin for sure and just tried to develop every year. Added a few key pieces in 14 and 15, and then that O-line rocked and rolled from probably 2014 to 2017 really well.
Oh. Yeah.
I've heard the stories. I've heard the glory. Legends. I actually didn't start watching football until about 3 to 4 years ago. So I have heard all of the great stories from the good years. Well, there's good years, but the years.
The years. Well, and 2021 is your last playing year. That's when Kathy started watching. It was in your last year, right? Heard me talking lots about you, but didn't quite understand the legends because you hadn't been in the seats, right? Let's bring up this picture.
Oh, okay.
Because we do indeed have the picture of you holding up
I have it.
2 BC Lions. I'm sure you've talked about this one before. Matt, that moment, you can realize that you were picking up 1 or 2 BC Lions at that moment.
Yeah, that's just, that field goal pro, defense thinks they're coming in, they can take a cheap shot or something like that, but it's just an equal opportunity for us to tee off on someone, especially you see a guy leaving his feet like me and my good buddy Ryan King there, another Grey Cup champion and good buddy of mine, we're like, okay, these guys leave their feet, like, we're going to punish them. Like, this isn't a playoff. This isn't where the defense gets to tee off on us. Like, if you come in the zone here, we're going to punish you. And the biggest thing was don't touch my center.
I like that. I like that. Those are my favorite plays. Like right now, our boys ask me, like, who's your current favorite player? And I had to think about it. And right now, my favorite player is Nick Anderson. And the reason why is because he can tackle like no other that I have seen. And, you know, those kind of explosive, borderline aggressive plays, my favorite.
Well, and I'm pretty sure, Matt, you've been a part of a couple of highlight reel ones. And for whatever reason, it seems to be BC that you like to beat up on. I don't know if that's, you know, you being born in BC, having that the hometown vibes there or what.
I think it's just because we played them 3 times a year usually. Just mathematically, we're playing them 3 times a year. You're going to get some highlights.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I love it. So humble.
Yeah.
Big shout out to everybody that is watching live right now. You're rocking with the Elks Herd on the Elks Call with Matt O'Donnell. Be sure to get your questions into the Herd chat now because we will be pulling those up shortly, as we can't have Matt O'Donnell on the show forever. Unfortunately. But Edmonton gets to, and that's the best part. Now, leaving the game of football can be challenging for athletes, as we see too often, where, you know, players have a hard time adjusting to the normal working life outside of football. So, from what we know, you've adjusted quite well. What has Matt O'Donnell been up to since retiring in 2022?
Well, my kids are keeping me really busy. I like to think of myself as a family man. I got 2 beautiful girls, 2.5 and 5.5, Elizabeth and Evelyn. You might have seen them run around the tailgate or on the field after a game. They keep me busy with all their sports and shenanigans. They want to play, they want to wrestle, they want to go out, they want to skate. So definitely love being a girl dad. Yeah, I think after 11 years, I was pretty ready to be done. 2 years in the NFL and 9 here in town. The COVID year, canceled season, kind of put a narrowed focus on life after football. You're like, well, football's still here for me right now, but we don't know where it's going to be moving forward at the time, right? And there's rumors of canceling the league, canceling this and that, and with COVID lasting forever. I didn't want COVID to end my career, so I was like, okay, I'll go back for the partial year. Hopefully we'll finish on an upswing. Unfortunately, we didn't, and then played, I think it was 3 games in 11 days or something like that, some sort of record for, like, football.
Gross.
We highly do not recommend, by the way. And then I had a great opportunity for a post-football career. I was like, well, can keep going back 1 year at a time or start thinking about life after football and transitioning for the career and being a family man. So I had to make that decision, and I like to think I don't regret it at all. Obviously, some parts you're still like, oh, yeah, I can still play. But what I can't do is, like, go to training camp, go to practice, sit in meeting rooms for a couple hours, try to stay awake. Game day is different. You miss game day. But I talk with some of the boys like Jonesy, Sorensen, Kinger, Eddie Steele. You're just like, you miss your brethren, you miss playing, and you miss the paycheck. That's it.
Yep. No, and I adjusted Sorensen center, I believe, right, to that line. So it was... Yeah, I could totally understand. And I think one of the coolest parts about all of you guys being retired is the fact that we see you out in the community. Like, at Commonwealth, we could see you at any moment on game day in the tailgate, or even out and about, right? Like, I've seen a Darius Bowman out and about. Odell Willis, you see him in the stands at Commonwealth. So it's like, it's so cool to see that aspect of it. And I mean, as much as we miss you on the turf, life after football has to come at some point, and especially when you want to have kids. And like you said, being a parent, I could only imagine how some of those current players are struggling as being young parents, right? Such as Trey Ford and others. So, to be able to do it later on in life, I think you kind of played it smart, Matt. Truthfully, like I think you probably pulled the right move there. Yeah,
What was the thing at the time? I didn't see it really turning around to where we were before, championship caliber. And then, when you started seeing the writing on the wall, and to be honest, I only ever wanted to play for Edmonton. That was it. There's no going anywhere else. If I was traded, I would have retired. I wouldn't, play anywhere else. Edmonton's my home. It'll always will be. But no, we love being in the community. Like me, Justin, Jonesy, Eddie Steele, all those guys. And we figured it out. I mean, it's no brainer. Like, it's usually the teams that win championships, guys, stay. Whether it's Americans, Canadians from out of province, So we're just waiting on this next wave of guys to win their championship somewhere in here in 2020s, and then before you know it, they'll be alumni members and on the board and helping run charity events and being in the community with their families, going to football games.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk about this now since we're on the subject. What are your thoughts on the current state of the Double E organization as an alum? Because you are one of few players that did transition over from an Eskimo to an Elk, which is you're part of a very select small group. So what do you think of the direction of the organization right now?
I think it's going to be just fine. It's definitely trending in the right direction. I have all the faith in the world in Ed Hervey. I think the world of him as a GM. I only just met Mark Killam last year. He's got rave reviews from former teammates and close friends of mine. That goes a long way. Guys who played for him in Calgary. They say he's a player's coach. It's hard to hit the ground running with such, not precision, but to hit the ground running hot and just start winning in professional football. They had to rebuild the roster. They got to bring in their guys. They got to figure out their systems. Then injury bugs hit, change your quarterback and stuff like that. But no, a little story I don't really tell too many people is Ed almost got me to come out of retirement when he was in Hamilton. He's about the only GM I think I would ever come out of retirement for. He actually would be the only GM I'd come out of retirement for. But the fact that he was in Hamilton, I was just like, I'm an Edmonton guy through and through. I appreciate it. Also, I don't think my wife would let me get on the plane.
No, and I mean, would have been really interesting to see. Obviously, David Beard went over there, and Ed had his connections. Would have been really funny to see. Obviously, we would have been cheering you on no matter what. And I mean, Calvin McCarty, he went over there as well on the Ed connection. So, it's great to hear that feedback from yourself, because we do know that the alumni weren't necessarily thrilled with some of the things that were going on. And you guys that stick together, that won the last championship together, I think that you guys should be honored as such. And, the alumni as a whole, anybody that's played for the Double E should have that distinction, and it actually means something. So, we're obviously not going to talk about any of the things that we've heard about right now, but it's good that you're positive about the direction, because we've heard a lot over the years, right?
Well, look at their record, right? There's 3 games they lost by less than 3. There's those, they say good teams find a way to win, bad teams find a way to lose, but I think sometimes it's just the luck, right? Their home loss to Hamilton, a wide open touchdown.
Yeah.
Like last second field goal to Toronto, you just those little plays, like maybe in 2015 it bounced our way, and this is a year it's bouncing the other way. You're talking 2 or 3 wins. That's the difference between hosting a home playoff game and sitting on the sideline right now. So it's just that every game, what I learned in football, every game, it has about 150, 200 plays, right? Offense, defense, special teams. There are about 6 plays in a game that decide who wins.
Yeah.
Whether it's a turnover on downs, a stupid penalty, a missed field goal, an explosive play. There's 5 or 6 plays that head coach will come in after win or loss and be like, these either won us the game or these lost us the game, or these will make us lose in the future.
Well, and I mean, you were, kind of even going back to what you were talking about earlier, and even in this instance as well, right? 2013 team that you were a part of, it was 3 or 4 wins on the season or something. It was a pretty bad year.
Yeah, 4 and 14.
4 and 14. Thank you. 4 and 14. And then going forward, all of a sudden hosting a Western semifinal against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and then 2015 you guys took home the chip. So, year over year, should we expect a Grey Cup in 2 years from now? No, I don't think that's what Matt's saying, or anybody else, or ourselves. But they are progressing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll talk more about it later on.
Well, and what I think is really comforting, it's really easy for somebody from outside of the organization to see certain things happening on the field and just be like, this is a bad team.
Yeah.
But hearing those words from somebody that has insights within the organization and knows exactly what it takes to get to a certain point, it's comforting, because that they're moving in the right direction. Yeah. If there's one thing that I've said, even with this teams this year, is that we started to see a lot more of that, 3-phase football. Everybody's putting in their own weight in the way that they're playing, which is very different than the previous years that we have seen. So even that progress and knowing what it takes and how long it could take to get to that point based on your experience, like that's good news to me. That gives me a little bit of hope.
The more younger players get experience too. Like I know we had a young, inexperienced secondary, but they gelled really well as the season went on, right? There were some injuries along the D-line and linebackers, obviously an O-line too. Like, it's professional football. Not too many times you're going to last all 18 games. I got lucky most of the seasons I was in it, but it's an exception to the rule, right? You need to have depth. You need to have guys who can step in and not miss a beat, and that's really hard in professional football. So it's one of those things where the experience will come, and like you mentioned, 2013, I think we lost 4 or 5 games by less than a field goal and like 8 or 9 games by less than a touchdown. So you're talking about all these one-score games we're on the wrong side of. Well, guess what? 2 years later, we're on the right side of it. And with a lot of the same core guys there, Aaron Grimes, JC Sherrod, Armando Sewell, myself, like all those guys who were on the couldn't quite close out team, we're on the now we know how to do it, because it gives you that hunger, that fuel, that anger of no, we're not going through this again. I don't care. I got to fight, scratch, claw, bleed, whatever. I will not go through 4 and 14 again. So sometimes losing is the catalyst to winning.
You gotta hate losing, right? Is that how it works? Yeah. No, that's crazy. And I mean, we've talked to Odell Willis about it as well, and it didn't seem like there were drastic changes year over year for you guys to get there. So, very, very cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fan questions and comments here.
Yeah, we do have Game Day Baby saying a big hi to Matt O. And then we do have a couple of questions from John. The first one is, what was your favorite stadium playing in the CFL?
Favorite stadium? So obviously we're going to go on the road here. Favorite stadium playing in the CFL? Definitely not Calgary. That place was a shithole in Village. Sorry. I don't know if I can swear or not. They have by far the worst stadium still. And like I've been through it where like we used to play at Taylor Field in Saskatchewan, and now they've gone to Mosaic, and I played in Hamilton, Ivor Wynne, where now they've gone to the real stadium, and like you've seen the transition, even Winnipeg. So I've gone from like the horrible old stadiums to the nice new ones. I like playing in Winnipeg. It was always a challenge because their fans were so loud, built right up upon you. I think they took the architecture from Seattle, the same firm, and like they know how the sound reverberates. They know how to make it loud. It's annoying. One time a guy said it looked like I took steroids, and it was a huge compliment. I was like, thank you. Stop.
From the stands?
Yeah.
I love it.
Huge fan yelled out I was on steroids, and I was like, I have been working with it.
I got Matt does steroids. Nice. That's a classic chirp right there. That's
I like that.
Not bad.
I
like that. Yeah.
The second question was, what are your thoughts on Machine Gun Kelly for halftime this year?
I like it. I like some of his stuff. Like I think it's a unique taste, but you can't have the same returning artists year over year. It's great to have iconic Canadians do it, but then I'm not sure how it works if they pay them or it's like, oh, you do this complimentary or like what. I still haven't figured out if they're paying people or not. I don't think they want me to perform, but they might need 15 pounds of beats to perform. That's Simeon Rotier's band, by the way.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, dear
and
God.
I mean, we're eventually going to run out of Canadians, really.
Yeah, so. I mean, you can only have Shania Twain up there. I think we're on a every 10 years, once a decade type of quota there. Let's get into some fun questions. I know we don't have you up for much longer here. Speaking of songs and music, what would we find on Matt O'Donnell's game day playlist?
I like to go in early. Like they want you in there 3 hours for the game. I usually go 4.5, maybe 5. I like to. The older I got, the longer I wanted to, kind of build up, take my time, enjoy the peace and quiet before everyone else got in there. Go on the field a little bit, go in the hot tub, cold tub a little bit, and start my procedure. But it's a slow build. Like you're building the ambiance a little bit. So you're going maybe from country on the way in the truck to like, all right, we'll start some classic like rock and roll. AC/DC, Aerosmith, start to amp up, and then the closer the game is, they turn on the big speakers in the locker room. It's usually some hardcore rock, some heavy metal, and then maybe like an hour before the game it switches to whatever the most popular rap at the time was.
Right. Love it. So you're listening to a lot of Lil Wayne then?
Oh yeah.
Love it. Wheezy F baby. Now, I know you just spoke about it, but what were your game day rituals?
Oh yeah, it's always like if it was a later game, me and a couple of the O-linemen used to go grab like breakfast at Ricky's. Like usually me, Jonesy Sorensen, maybe Kinger would join in, or Big Thad, a couple of the other guys, whoever was kind of available in town. If they wouldn't have family in town or stuff to do, they'd come for breakfast before the stadium. Yeah, not too much. Like you just try to like stay low key as possible. If the game's later on in the day, you don't really want to do too much because you're tunnel vision to the game. So I like the earlier games because then 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you go get it over with. You can still go out, have dinner with your family, spend time with your friends, do that kind of stuff. But yeah, the game's at 7 or 8. You're not doing too much in the day. Maybe a little video games, take a nap, just kind of keeping low key. You got to save all that energy.
Nice. Things that you don't have energy for, nowadays, right? That's
well, I like to say it now. It's like I'm retired, but mostly just tired.
Yeah.
We're all getting old together. This is great.
Yeah.
Let's take one last fan question here, and then we will let Matt go.
We'll close it off with this one. The most important question of the night from Jamie Fadoon. Who do you think is going to win this coming semifinal games?
I'm gonna cheer for BC. I got to cheer for Sean White. He's a good buddy of mine. He was a good friend here in Edmonton. CFL All-Star, West All-Star. I think they released the list today. Always kind of cheer for him. I usually cheer for certain players over teams, but no, I got Montreal winning and I got BC winning.
I love it. That's one home team, and is Montreal hosting? Yeah, Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal's hosting the crossover with Winnipeg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Winnipeg, right? So both of the home teams. You have both of the home teams. I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
At least you're not, cheering for Calgary or
we cannot. We do
never.
not.
Winnipeg, right?
We
Really?
do not around here.
I like that.
What?
I see what you did.
That makes sense, especially knowing that it may take a certain play to win the game. With Sean White on deck,
yeah,
he could.
Especially you're in a dome in BC, like he's automatic. Yeah, there's no snow, there's no weather. Like he's a great kicker.
Yeah, the special stream, right? As Jake Julian calls it. All right, Matt, super thankful of your time. I will say, like I said, right, it's really cool to see you out in the community still. Whether it be at a football game, whether it be at the supermarket or whatever, in the tailgate, obviously. Ran out of time, or else we'd be talking about that too. But it's really cool to see you still involved. Obviously, alumni events as well. You're a true Eskimo, as they say. Even if you are an Edmonton Elk as well, I think that's all the same nowadays, right? So, yeah, man, it's fantastic to see you still involved with the club. It's cool to see you still giving back to fans, and then of course, growing out of football and becoming a dad and. Still making it to the games and supporting the club. So, I was kind of hoping that they were going to do like a 2025, 10 years since the last Grey Cup. But
well, they did celebrate the 05 team, so I guess we kind of got pushed to the back burner. But maybe we're on deck for 2035, I guess, our 20-year anniversary.
Yes, you have to wait another 10 years for that, I guess.
I think that's how it works now.
Yeah, man, super thankful. Where can our viewers and listeners find you online?
I don't have much in the way of socials. I got Facebook, which I never use. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. I'm a lame, boring person. I got LinkedIn for work purposes, but yeah, if you see me on the street, come say hello. We'll chat football. We'll chat whatever, and yeah, that's about it.
I love it. I will also say one of the most shocking transformations is seeing an offensive lineman in retirement when they're not packing on like tons of pounds. I think when I saw you like the first time post football, I was like, whoa, I think that's Matt O'Donnell. Like,
I think
this man has shed a pound or two. I don't mean that in a rude way. It's just that's the nature of the beast of the game, right? So, yeah, it took me a little bit to recognize.
Usually, O-line usually go one of two ways after football. They either go drastically down or drastically up, and I'm fighting for my life here to not go up. So, I think I gained a couple pounds after my second kid was born. That's how that works, right? Like I gained the weight, and then just kind of hovering at like 320 right now. I gotta lose about 15 to 20 again.
And see, that's what happens. You hit like past 30s, and it's just a downhill from there.
You start an office job, and you just that's not too many steps. Not getting paid to work out anymore. I got to drag my butt to the gym solo, and
that's like we said, right? We're getting old together, and it's definitely affecting my midriff as well. So, this was fantastic, Matt. Can't thank you enough for this tonight. We will let you go, but I'm sure that we'll see you again. Maybe not soon, but we'll definitely see you next year at the tailgate. And I don't know, if not, if there's another event, maybe we'll see you before that.
Absolutely. You might want to give them an update. I think it's 6-1 Jays, bottom of the ninth, so it's looking good.
My man, I told you that I was focusing on this, and I've been trying not to peek over. So thank you very much, 6-1 Blue Jays. You heard from Matt O'Donnell. Let's go Blue Jays.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it all. Thank you.
Good night.
Cheers, man. And that was Matt O'Donnell, number 66, formerly of your Edmonton Elks and Eskimos. Like Matt said, it's 6-1 Blue Jays.
Crazy.
That was an awesome chat.
Yes.
He's got like a really good, like a drier sense of humor. Like, you know, it's hilarious.
Very much like that. Sometimes I find that people that have like not a dry sense of humor, like they will use humor and it will go over my head.
Mm-hmm. And that was another best of episode of the Elks Call Season 3. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that's how you show your support around here. This episode was brought to you by RoyalRetros.com. Save 10% off your order by using code ShotgunSports, all caps, no spaces. They are the throwback kings. We love Royal Retros, and we know you will too. Once again, my name is Scout Natick, aka the rep from Section X. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. Cheers.